Hats off to Roy Harper. He can go take a poop in his crap while we hear that garbage playing on the album.
There's like 10 or 20 Beatles songs I'd rather listen to Hats Off to Roy Harper than listen to the Beatles song.
Welcome to Sound Lab Studios. Sound Labs. Hey music fans, and welcome back to Sound Lab Studios. We are making a video today that is long overdue. I think 6 months overdue. We are going to be continuing in the Led Zeppelin series with Jacob Martin, doing Led Zeppelin's third self-titled album, Led Zeppelin III. And I am very excited to get to dig into this album. This is also the very first time on the channel that we have five. Why did I say four? I was thinking all four. We have all four plus Jacob, so that makes five. We have five people in one review. This is going to be very fun. It's a good one to have five people for. This album is amazing. It's kind of spoilers, but I just wanted to say I really like this album. Anyway, does anybody have any just kind of brief thoughts on the album before we begin?
I guess I'll go first. When I first got into this album, I was just getting into their music. I only first heard the first four albums. Like the first two, were, what people are talking about, hard rock, Led Zeppelin. But when I heard this album for the first time, like this is a big departure from their rockin' style. And I loved it because it's different. And I like when bands try things different. So, yeah, I really like it.
I will say this is so far the first time where I've listened to a Zeppelin album where I want to listen to it more times.
How many more times?
I do need to re-listen to Zeppelin II, though, because I do think it was a great album. But I really dug deep into this album. I've listened to this album 3 times, and I'll safely say this one gets better and better each time I listen to it.
Very appropriate, 3 times.
Yeah.
Yeah, he said he listened to one once. He wants to listen to 2 again. That'll make 2 times. And
that's good. Less of them 4. That's a good one. So
I listened to that 4 times.
How's it old? You have to listen to 5 times.
But how many more times will you listen to it? Anyway, something cool about this album is there's this cool little wheel. It has different pictures whenever you spin it. I can't exactly do it because I'm holding my microphone right now, but yeah, there it is. He's got John Paul Jones on his. Mine is John Bonham, and Bron-Yr-Aur has Robert Plant on his right now. But I like how it's reverse Bonham.
And Jason has an imaginary Jimmy Page.
Right.
I mean, I see John Lennon and Jeff Lynne back there.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, just noticed too. There's also another picture of John Paul Jones in the little circle there.
Yeah, he's hiding somewhere. Yeah, you can look at this for hours, and I think you still wouldn't see everything there is to see on this album cover. It's
their best album cover, and it's great.
Anything else before we get into the track by track?
I feel like this album, looking at it, when you compare it to like the first 5 albums at least or more, this has the least big hits on it compared to the other ones. I feel like this is more of a deep cut album comparatively when I listen to it. There's like one big song on here. To me, that's about it. And then everything else is not as well known.
Yeah.
I think I would agree with that because the only song I had heard before listening to this album for the first time was the Immigrant Song. That was like the big song that came from that album.
Yeah.
but everything else was all new to me. And I think that was what made it really cool. Was it's like diving into a whole album of songs I wasn't familiar with.
That's what Houses of the Holy is going to be. Other than you might have heard Over the Hills and Far Away.
Oh yeah, that's a great song.
Jamaica is also another song that's pretty popular from that album.
Yeah. Okay. And the ocean's on that one. Maybe?
Oh yeah, the ocean.
Yeah. I'd say this is the one that has actually in general, this is the one that has the least amount of hits on it. This is the only album that has one.
True. I mean, even In Through the Outdoor has 2 hits. All of My Love and Fool in the Rain.
Yeah.
Or well, okay, I'm forgetting about Presence, which has no hits on it.
Presence has no hits. No.
Oh yeah.
But
it's for one notable song.
Yeah, notable song, but it wasn't a hit. Achilles' Last Stand. Anyway, before we get into the track by track, guess what time it is? It's time for background information. Background information. All right, so I know Jason and Bron-Yr are usually the ones who like to talk about background information on these albums.
You guys usually, at least on Nick's channel.
On Nick's channel.
Oh yeah, Brian does that a lot on my channel.
I mean, I can I can talk a little bit about the background information if you want.
Yeah, go ahead.
Okay. So we had Led Zeppelin's first 2 albums that are kind of similar in style, hard rock blues. And then 1970, there you go for a weekend stay at this little cottage called Bron-Yr-Aur, which is a little cottage in Wales that Robert Plant used to vacation at. And there's no electricity or running water at this cottage, so you can't plug in electric guitars there. So they decided to bring some acoustic guitars, and that's why there's a lot of acoustic stuff on this album, is they wrote a lot of the songs at that cottage. Whenever this album was released, people didn't really like it because it was a complete 180 from their last 2 albums, with the exception of 1 or 2 songs. But I think that kind of works to its favor. Right at the height of your musical popularity, switch it up and see what people think. But we'll see what we think whenever we get to the review portion, or the rating at the end. But without further ado, let's go ahead and get into track 1, the Immigrant Song.
Oh man, I'm so excited to talk about this one. This was the one song I knew going in, and it's still one of my favorites from the album. It's a great way to open the album. It's a great hard rocker. I love the the big scream there. It's the big.
Are we going to get a Jake Sings of the Immigrant Song?
That'd be a good one.
Maybe not like that. I'll lose my but I do love the track. Kind of like a love letter to Vikings. It's a great song you can like drive to or work out to. Yes. And plus it was used pretty amazingly in Thor Ragnarok, and even its use in a Marvel movie doesn't hurt my enjoyment of the song. It's pretty awesome.
That was actually my introduction to Led Zeppelin, was that song in the Thor Ragnarok trailer.
Yeah,
that's a good introduction.
It's a great song. The guitar part is really rocking it. And even though it's like the shortest song on the album, but it still packs a punch, and it's one of the best songs on this album.
Oh yeah, it's very heavy. Definitely one of the heaviest. Probably is the heaviest song on the album.
Yeah.
And again, like Jacob says, it's short, but yeah, it doesn't waste any time to really set the tone for the first half. I mean, again, John Bonham's drumming just very heavy, very big in the sound. And yeah, even the bass playing, the bass line on this one is very good as well. So yeah, very good opening song for this album.
So right as soon as you start this album, you know it's going to be amazing. You get the little sound effect, like it's like they were playing around with the tape hiss and made it a sound effect. But then you get that guitar riff, and then you got Robert Plant doing Viking wails. So pretty much all of the songs up to this point were about girls, and now we get mythology in there, which kind of comes from Peter Grant. Their manager wanted them to be like these like mythological heroes, almost like that you don't know much about, that were like shrouded in mystery, which was his kind of like marketing ploy for the band. Like he didn't have them do very many interviews. Like he had these strict rules about when you interviewed the band. Apparently one of them was like, don't look Bonham in the eye because he's dangerous. He wrote that down. So we wanted to have a lot of mystery and hype surrounding the band. So like having a song about Vikings and Norse mythology on here. But epic guitar playing. It's weird because this is one of the only Led Zeppelin songs I can think of that doesn't have a guitar solo on it.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Kind of a interesting tidbit, but that chord that he plays at the end, the weird one that's like ba 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 da ba da ba 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 da ba da ba da ba ba, I think that's really cool. And then it just kind of like stops and then goes into the next song, but I will stop there and let somebody else review the song.
Yeah, you go next, Jason.
Okay. Yeah, what can you say? It's one of the best Led Zeppelin songs. I almost would say it's the most well-known. I'd almost put it up there as maybe the most well-known Led Zeppelin song there is out there, and maybe the one most played. As Jacob mentioned, Thor Ragnarok has a really good place in there. Also, School of Rock. I remember when I watched School of Rock the first time, they played this. Jack Black is singing along, and he's doing that, and I'm like, "What is this song?" And I didn't even know it was called Immigrant. It took me a long time to figure out the name of the song because I don't think they ever say immigrant in the
No.
So for a long time, I'm trying to search for a song. I'm like, what is the name of this song? And then finally, it's like, oh, it's Immigrant Song. Like, it was so confusing. Like, why is it called Immigrant Song? And yeah, it has that. It's just that when that guitar hits you at the beginning, it's one of the best. I mean, I always say Whole Lot of Love is my favorite like guitar riff when it hits you at the beginning, but this is probably right after that. It gets you rocking right away. You're like, oh, I'm really into this song just from the very beginning of it. But yeah, it's iconic. It's amazing.
Yeah, this song's really good. Yeah, this song hits you right away. When I first heard this song, it was from School of Rock.
Yeah.
I was kind of like in the same boat as Jason. I was like young. I'm like, what is this song? And then discovered Led Zeppelin. I'm like, oh, that's them. And I'm like, and that's on this album. And I'm like, okay, because I remember reading up on the album and watching videos. And I'm like, oh, this is their most acoustic based album. And like, how is it acoustic based album? It starts off with this song, and then of course the rest of it proves that. But like, wow, it really starts off with a banger. And even though it's their most overplayed song, and I've heard it a billion times, I think it's their best album opener.
Yeah.
All right. Well, that is going to move us on to track 2, Friends.
I really like the song. It starts off the same way that the Immigrant Song starts off with, but like it cuts off a little, Immigrant Song is like, but it's like with the second song, it's like, and it's like them tinkering around a little, it's like, it's like, and like. I could just imagine them like using that sound effect for the electric guitars, but the power went out. So then they're like, oh, we got to do something, and then they like switch to acoustic guitar quickly, and then the like with the boom boom like I could just imagine them like trying to tune themselves. It's like, like okay, guess we're going with this now. And then they play this like it was gonna be electric guitar, but then they switched it up because the power went out. I know it happened, but that's how I imagine it going down. Yeah, it's amazing. One of my favorites. I love the Indian influence. It's like or like the Egyptian feeling with the orchestra, and it's an epic song. Really, really epic. Great follow
up. This is one where the more I've listened to it, the more it's gone up on my ranking a little bit. Because it was near the bottom of my ranking when I first listened to it, but it has crept up a little bit the more I've listened to it. This one feels like a little bit out of place on the first half of the album, because the first half of the album is all the rocking stuff, and then the more acoustic stuff is on the second half of the album. But I think a part of me wants to switch this to later on in the album, but it segues so well into the next song. It'd be jarring if you did change it, but I still really like this song. I love the acoustic work on it. The mix of the Indian influences with like the orchestra and everything. I'm glad you brought that up, Nick, because when I first listened to it, I was reminded of this Beatles song, which is in the Yellow Submarine movie. I think it's called "Think for Yourself." It's one of George Harrison's tracks that has a similar style production to it. I don't know if that's where Zeppelin got their influence in making this song and crafting it, but either way, it's a really unique song in their discography, and I really like it.
Yeah, I agree. This was kind of a grower as well because it is pretty different compared to a lot of the other songs on here. But yeah, I mean, it's still very fascinating. Again, that Indian influence that we already talked about. I also really kind of like the string arrangement on this one. Of course, John Paul Jones was an arranger, so he arranged all the strings, and it definitely gives this kind of ominous tone to it, which kind of adds a different dynamic to it. Um, but yeah, overall, it's a pretty good song. Again, it's not one of my favorites, but it's definitely a grower, like I said, and it does lead in pretty well into the next track. So I enjoy it.
Here's an interesting rule of thumb about Led Zeppelin. If you hear an instrument that's not guitar or drums, it's John Paul Jones.
There you go.
Yes. If I could name myself right now, it'd be Nick appreciates John Paul Jones because he's the most underrated member of the band.
But the guitar tuning on this song is really weird. Well, that's kind of one of the things that Jimmy Page liked to do was like put his guitar into weird tunings to get kind of different sounds, which is kind of why the guitar sounds a little bit lower pitched than you normally would hear it. I love the guitar playing on this, and we already talked about the string arrangements, which are absolutely amazing. We haven't talked about the lyrics yet, but I really like them. It's just kind of like positivity, like just send a smile to your friends kind of thing, which is interesting because the music is kind of darker sounding, but then you have like the brighter lyrics, which is kind of an interesting contrast.
Well, I'm gonna be the one to say this was one of my least favorite songs on the album, and a big letdown from the first song, which was like the best song on the album. And I just didn't care for this one at all. I don't know. I just didn't find it interesting. I don't know.
All right. That's okay. That's what
we're friends here.
Yeah.
We are good.
The best thing that you can do now is share a smile to someone that's blue now. And I see Jason is wearing the blue sweater. But what does Jacob say?
Most of us wearing blue today.
Yeah. What does Jacob say all the time?
I'm like the odd one out. I got like gray and red.
Yeah.
Blue and gray and red are the colors. But Jacob, what does he say all the time? The beauty of music is its subjectivity.
Very subjective, yeah.
Right.
By that, but we're not toxic like a lot of movie fans are.
No. Okay. We're gonna go to Celebration Day, which is track 3.
I'm just gonna say it now. This is my second least favorite song on the album. That doesn't take it away though. This is still an epic track. But yeah, if I had to rank all the songs, this would be like at number 9. I'm not gonna say it's anywhere near as like weak as the 10th like the bottom track on the album, but yeah, I like it. It's a good transition, but that's about it.
I like the synthesizer at the end of Friends kind of just goes like they take the knob and they just go and then that's the new tonic note for the next song introduces the key and the guitar comes in but I think the real hero of this song is John Bonham and his amazing drumming.
That's true. I
like this is one of the weaker songs on the album, but John Bonham's drumming makes it worth listening to.
Yeah, this is one where like all the times I've listened to the album, this is the one I struggle to remember after listening to the album. Not to say it's a bad song, but I'd say it's probably one of the weaker tracks on the album. I do like the transition from Friends to this song, and the production on it is great, but I would still say it's probably one of the weaker songs on the album.
The main part I just remember is the part where Robert Plant goes, "My, I'm so happy. I'm gonna join the band."
I like the part in the end where it's like ba-da-ba-dum, ba-da-ba-bum, ba-da-ba-dum. And like Robert Plant is just like it's just like he just
yeah.
It sounds like a Led Zeppelin. It sounds like a song that would be a hit if they had this as a single.
Maybe there's another song on here I think that would have worked better as a hit. We'll get to that one. I'll mention it when we get to that one, but we are now on to Since I've Been Loving You.
Wait, did Brian and Jason give their opinion?
No.
Wait,
I don't think they did.
Never. With this, sorry, we got five people. I gotta make sure everyone talks about it.
You want to go, Briar?
No, you can go first, Jason. I'll go last.
This is one of the best songs on the album, and I don't know why I'm disagreeing with you guys. I guess
that's okay.
Oh my God, I was expecting you to agree with me. I thought you were gonna be like, "Yeah, I agree." It's like
somebody's got to like it.
Yeah. I was like, "This is okay."
This is the Jason. This is your "you shook me" moment.
Yes.
I guess I'm the opposite. Like I thought this was one of the stronger songs. I thought it was a solid rock song. I really enjoyed this one. I thought this was one of the good ones on the album.
Well, Jason, you're not alone. So really enjoy the song. Yeah, it's actually in my top 5.
Me too.
Oh wow!
Really?
Wow.
Yeah, okay, we have some divisiveness on this one.
Yeah, because I think I agree with what everyone said. I think John Bonham's drumming really carries the song. It really has this driving feel to it, which just pulls you up, takes you along. And I also like the other things about it. I think the guitar work is really great. The main riff or guitar melody it's very good for me. And even again, I can hear John Paul Jones's bass there, and it's just a really good bass line. And we've already talked about that. He's a very underappreciated bass player. Like he's made some great bass lines throughout the whole career. But yeah, I also thought it was a really good song.
I know he was one of Geddy Lee's heroes.
Mm-hmm.
Him and John Entwistle.
Yeah.
Okay. Well, I'm glad we had Jason and Briar talk about it because we needed to have some kind of positivity about
some positivity on that one.
I know there's one song that there's not going to be any positivity about, hopefully, but boom, 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 boom. Since I've Been Loving You. Moving on to the next one.
This is one of the best songs on the album. I'm just gonna say it right here. I know there's one person here that's gonna disagree with me strongly, but I think it's one of the best songs on the album. Yeah, I see Jason nodding his head. He knows. He knows what I'm talking about. I think this song is so epic. Just everything about it. It just starts off slow, but then it gets more and more intense. It doesn't like get fast or anything, but like it just builds on itself, and it's one of the strongest songs on the album, if you ask me.
I would agree.
I could not agree more, Nick. This is one of my favorite songs on the album. I've defended this song since the first time I've heard it, and it's still one of my favorites. This is pretty much Led Zeppelin's blues influences cranked up to the max, and it feels peak Zeppelin with this song. Even though it's the longest song, it has a great build. At first, I wasn't sure if I would like it because of how slow it was, but then the more it kept growing, the more Robert Plant sings his heart out on this song, the more intense the production is with the guitar solos. The percussion on this song is amazing, especially when Robert Plant is kind of doing his little improv near the end where he's going the 7 7 7 7. I love that. I love
make the drag.
The more I listen to it, this song slaps. It's one of my favorite songs on the album.
Don't worry, Jacob. I wasn't hinting towards you. I knew you liked it.
This was my favorite song on the album at one point when I first listened to it. I will say that there are some that have eclipsed it now. It's still one of my favorites, but I love this song. I love this is some of Jimmy Page's best guitar playing. That solo in the middle. My favorite lick is the one where it goes that part. Like where he just does that really quick arpeggio there, like that. I don't know why I like that part so much, but it's really cool. John Bonham once again. amazing drumming, and he's kind of more restrained on this song, but that really adds to the feel, kind of just keeping the groove. And then whenever it gets to the end, then he gets to go crazy on the drums. John Paul Jones, amazing on the bass, and we can't do this without talking about Robert Plant's amazing vocals, especially what Nick and Jacob were talking about earlier, the part where he's like, yeah, I've been working for 777 to 1111, and it makes life a drag. Whatever it is, it's like this singing his heart out on this one. It's amazing.
I'm gonna say this right now: 7 out of these 10 tracks were my favorite song from this album at some point. Like my like 7 out of these 10 tracks were my favorite. So yeah, that should just prove how great this album was.
All right, are you ready for some negativity?
Yes.
Oh no.
Yeah, this is one of the least favorite songs on the album for sure. I did not like this at all. It was like 7 minutes long, I think. It just felt so long. It was so boring. It's so slow moving, so bluesy. It's my least favorite style of Led Zeppelin, which they do these kind of slow moving bluesy songs. I feel like this belonged on Led Zeppelin 1 because I did not like Led Zeppelin 1 at all because I thought the whole album was just too bluesy, too boring. And that's a style that Led Zeppelin does sometimes. I like the more either fun pop kind of songs or the really fast-paced rock songs, but this is just not my style of song. I guess I could definitely leave this one off the album personally.
All right.
Yeah, I'm kind of mixed personally on this track. I do like aspects of it, but yeah, kind of like Jason, I think it does go in a bit too slow for my liking. But again, there's aspects I do like. Again, I do like Bonham's drumming, especially towards the end where he does more fills, and especially I really like. I noticed when there was a little bit of organ playing by Jones as well, which I also took notice. And Plant's vocals are pretty solid. They're pretty good. But again, this is not one of those songs I go back to very often for me. But again, I think there's some good stuff in here. It's not one of my favorites either, but it could be a grower. Maybe more I hear it, I can see it probably going up a little bit, but it's good. It's still a good. It's a fine song.
Oops, think something happened, Scott.
I hate this. My mic keeps dropping out. Oh, great. Now there's Here Comes the Sun. Dude.
Yeah, I see this.
Okay. There we go. Microphone is back, and we are going to move on to Out on the Tiles.
This song's epic. The song has all the makings of a Led Zeppelin hit, but for some reason it's not a hit. That's just that's what bothers me the most.
I'm surprised they didn't release it as a hit.
Yeah, I know. It sounds like something that would be played on classic rock radio, but yeah, it's one of the best songs on the album. I really like this song. It does get a tiny bit repetitive compared to the first 4 songs on the album. More especially after the last song gets a little repetitive, but I still think the song's epic.
Funny enough, I heard this song on classic rock radio before.
Oh, really?
Well, it's just because the radio station I listen to has a Get the Let Out thing at like 9:00 in the evening where they play some hits and some deep cuts, and they played this one, and I specifically remember this song because when my roommate and I first moved into this apartment here, we were driving home from dinner, and we turned on the radio just as the Get the Let Out segment was starting, and the first song they played was Out on the Tiles. And so, like, I specifically remember, like, when I hear this song, I think about moving into my apartment. But it's an amazing song and really should have been, this is the one I was talking about. It should have been one of the big hits. John Bonham's drumming is amazing. The riff, and then Robert Plant's vocals, amazing as always. Another one of my favorites on the album.
Yeah, this is another one of my favorites on the album as well. It's another one where it grew on me the more I listened to it, because I think when I first listened to it, some of the songs like Celebration Day, Out on the Tiles were a little samey. But I think of the two, Out on the Tiles stood out a lot more. I think between the guitar riff and then again Robert Plant, who is absolutely incredible in this album vocally, especially where he's like, it's another really it's a really screwing with my words. This is another great song. It's definitely in my top 5 from the album.
I agree. It's one of the better songs on the album. It's a really good rock song. Like I said, yeah, I could see it as like a hit song. That's interesting. It's just got all the classic Led Zeppelin that you want on it. I mean, it's right up there for me. Is one of the best on the album.
Couldn't agree more. One of my favorites as well. Yeah, it's kind of funny. The term "out of the tiles" is supposed to be like a saying about going to a bar. And of course, it was kind of written about Bonham. Of course, Bonham's known as a drinker.
Yes,
yes. But I really like the intro. That descending guitar intro there I really enjoyed that. Probably this might be the second heaviest track on the album. It's definitely a bit more on that heavier rock side.
Yeah.
And the chorus is definitely very good. I really enjoyed the chorus too as well. Again, how Robert was singing that line. But yeah, another good standout track from me.
Yeah, for me, the way I remember the song from is I was listening to Led Zeppelin III with a coworker from KCR, and he's a cool guy, and he was looking at the title. He was like, out of the tills," like not tiles. It's like, oh, out of the tills, and I'm like,
what?
Did you introduce him to Led Zeppelin?
He knew like Zeppelin IV, but yeah, he really enjoyed the third album. He's like, yeah, it's a great album.
I got one on you better, Nick. When I first saw the title of this album, I thought it said "Album of Tires."
Yeah.
Every time I look at the title now, I think I always say out of the tills.
Okay, you know what we get to do now? We get to flip the record over.
From my angle, it doesn't even look like it flipped over. It just looks the exact same.
It's so chaotic.
And we are going to go to Gallows Pole.
This song's one of the best songs on the album. Just gonna say it right now. It's a mixture between their softer acoustic songs and their epic electric songs. It's like here's a good way of putting it. It's like if Bron-Yr-Aur Stomp and Out of the Tiles made a child, and this song came out of it. That's what it reminds me of. It has acoustic stuff to it, but there's also electric aspects to it as well in the song, and it's a perfect song. And that list that has this song at 69, you will never be able to rank Zeppelin songs again because you suck. Because this is one of the best songs in general. I don't care. This song's amazing.
I could not agree more. This is one of my favorite songs on the album as well. I think if I read this was a folk song originally, a British folk song that was popular, but then Zeppelin made it their own. I love the mix of acoustic and electric instruments. There's some good percussion on it as well. I think this song has one of my favorite choruses. That's probably, even with kind of the darker lyrics, it's still one of the most singable choruses. It's become one of the biggest discoveries from this album, in my opinion, is Gallows Pole. It's become one of my favorite Zeppelin songs.
Keep in mind, this was like my second most played song of last year, so that's how much I love it.
I love that outro. But this song is amazing. I like what you guys were talking about. It's like acoustic and electric. My favorite part of this song is when John Paul Jones comes in. And the boom, 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 boom. And when I've heard this on my sound system, like John Paul Jones's bass just comes through loud and clear. Sounds amazing. And then like Jimmy Page is playing the banjo on this song. I thought that was kind of interesting. Yeah. And then you have that kind of part of the I mean, it's kind of lyrically kind of an odd song that a guy is like sentenced to the gallows pole and he's trying to get people to give him money so he can buy his way out.
But that's two songs I know that's about going to a gallows pole.
Oh,
Yeah.
mama, I'm in
If
fear
I had a-
for my life from the
If
Lord.
I had a nickel for every time I heard a song that was about a gallows pole, I'd have 2 nickels,
Which is not a lot, but it's kind of surprising.
Weird, it
happened
happened twice.
More than you would think.
Yeah.
Yeah,
The other
Renegade.
one,
I'm
the other
guessing
one,
Renegade by Styx
yeah.
is the other one, but
No, it's actually no, it was Iron Maiden.
oh, so that makes 3.
Yeah, I guess so.
There's another good hanging song from the 50s. Hang down your head, Tom Dooley. Hang down your head and cry.
Wow.
Okay, so it's weird that this theme is more common than we think.
Oh wow. Yeah, this brought a great discussion about hanging songs.
Sure,
What a way to go.
We should all play Hangman after this.
Oh, that's that song, "The Hanging Tree" from the Hunger Games.
Yeah.
No, play this. So now we're just finding all of the songs about hanging, but it's amazing.
Which was written by the guy from Lumineers, by the way, because I did a whole thing on Lumineers.
Oh,
like,
nice. Oh, well, I don't think I realized that. Wow.
Yeah.
But I think the other thing I wanted to mention on Gallows Pole was, my background as far as being in the music. I grew up predominantly country music. That's kind of like my bread and butter. So this is probably, at least the second half of this album, is like the closest thing Led Zeppelin got to a country album, and I am 100% down with that.
Yeah. Very true.
It sounds like something that Johnny Cash would actually write or sing.
Kind of.
I can see Johnny Cash doing Gallows Pole and his rockabilly stuff.
Johnny Cash did some dark stuff, so I can see him.
He did.
Oh yeah, he did.
He's the man in
That was a
black
cover.
for a reason.
Yeah.
Okay.
I don't have a lot of notes on this. I just wrote that it was okay. So it's not in the top, it's not in the bottom, it's just in the middle for me. Yeah, it was a fine song.
Oh yeah. For me, I did enjoy this one. This actually was very close to make the top 5. It's going to be an honorable mention. But yeah, there's many things I do enjoy it, and there's something we've kind of already touched about on this album is that I feel like there's a lot of people who talk way too broadly on this album. Generally, when I hear people talk about this album, they always say side 1's where all the hard, heavy stuff is, and then side 2's all acoustic. I mean, this song kind of proves that that's not really the case because there are still electric guitars on here, and there's still some good drumming on here by Bonham, which again really adds to them more. And yeah, this is like the perfect example of that. Just a pretty good song. I love the first half where it is very acoustic heavy, but I do like the melody to it. And once it does kick in, where it does get a bit heavier, that's like, yeah, really great second half, and I think it plays the song really well. So I think this is a good start to this second half, I think.
And then Friends on side 1. That's an acoustic song on side 1.
There you
go. Right.
Okay, so now, if I'm correct, I'm going to have to check real quick to make sure. But yes, it is Tangerine.
I love Tangerine. I eat them every day.
That's a really nice song.
That's what the song's about?
Probably not.
Probably not.
Yeah. This is a really nice song. It starts off with them with the like a little bit of a warm up. It's just like a little bit of silence, and I'm like, interesting. And then the song begins, and I'm like, that's interesting. And the chorus is such a highlight. Tangerine, just a beautiful song. I will say this, I love their folk songs. They did it last album with Thank You, which is amazing, but I feel like they really do a good on this album, and I think if they do it the best on this album, especially they do it really good too on Faraway Hills and Over the Hills and Far Away, which is also amazing. But this is like the highlight of their folk stuff.
What is it with Led Zeppelin and songs about fruit?
Yeah, they had the
They're
Lemon
very
Song
juicy.
on the last album.
Oh yeah, this is a lot better than Lemon Song.
A lot better.
Lemon Song, yeah.
I love the Lemon Song, but this beats it.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
This is amazing. Yeah. I love the guitar playing. It's just a different side of Led Zeppelin. I can only imagine people that only heard the first two albums listening to this, like getting the record, like, all right, let's see what they're gonna do. There's gonna be another whole lot of love on here, isn't there? And they start but yeah, and then it gets to friends like, wait, what? What is this? And then and then back to Since I'm in Love with You, yeah, blues rock, and then hearing Gallows Pole, and this like, what are they doing? But I'm all up for it. I think it's amazing.
Yeah, I really like this one as well. At one point when I first heard the album, this would have been in my top 5. I think it's gone down a little bit the more I've listened to the album, but I do think it's a lovely track. I like the acoustic folksiness of this song. And then the harmonies on this track, which you don't often hear in a Zeppelin song, reminded me of some of the early Beatles stuff. So I do really like this one.
Yeah, I agree. It was a pretty good song. It's not my top 5, but it's probably right outside there. Again, yeah, I like the acoustic guitar work on here, and yeah, it's a solid song, I think. Again, not top, not bottom, but it's right in there.
Yeah. I mean, yeah, I know I talked about the Tangerines earlier, but all seriousness, I think I really love this song. This is another big highlight for me. Yeah, I just love the feel of it. There's just this sense of longingness that I get from it. I haven't gone too deep on the lyrics, but I just love the feel to it. I love how the acoustic guitars sound. And I really like the pedal steel guitar, which is on this track. I really enjoy how they sound in here. Apparently, I don't know if I didn't go too deep, but apparently Jimmy Page has had this song dating back to his Yardbirds days. So he decided to kind of bring it back here, and I'm kind of glad he brought it here. I think it really, really is a really great song. So yeah, it's a great highlight for me.
So you like the fruit and the song, you're saying?
I love fruit. Like I said, I eat tangerines, so I'm gonna be biased towards my favorite fruit.
Yeah, you're in California. You probably got all things growing over there.
Yeah, I got a lemon tree and outside too.
Yeah.
As of right now, as of now, it's snowing outside where I live, so everything.
Oh wow!
Everything's
dead
now.
Yeah. We got snow over here in Tennessee as well.
Me too.
Yeah. I had the snow last week.
Yeah,
it's bright Texas, and sunny out here.
That shuts down Texas when it snows.
It does. It was just like 1 inch too.
You're like, oh no, snow.
Like, what is this? We can't go to work.
What is this? I want to do a video where I go outside and play in the snow, and then I say, "This is what it's like, Bron-Yr," and then and that's it. That's the whole video.
There you go.
It was like, you see that white stuff, Bron-Yr? That's called snow.
You see, Bron-Yr? That's the way you play in the snow.
It is real.
Yeah. This is snow.
I thought that was only for Christmas movies.
You can go outside in the snow and go, "Hey, Bron-Yr, if you come over to Tennessee or Texas or Pennsylvania, do you want to build a snowman?"
Yeah. Oh, that's a good one.
I'd say yes.
That's the way you build a snowman. And speaking of that's the way. That's
a beautiful song.
That is.
I'll let you guys talk about the song first. I'll go last this time.
I don't want to go first.
I'm just gonna say, yeah, it's another highlight for me. It's definitely another really great song. I loved how gentle it is. Again, there's a little hit of sadness into it, but it still has a very calming vibe to it. Again, the acoustic guitars sound really good. I love the mandolin and the steel guitar in this one, and there's really no drums on this track, and I don't miss it. I think it works great on its own. So yeah, very great song. Really enjoy it a lot.
This song is absolutely amazing. I love the guitar intro, that dun 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 dun, and I like later in the song where they do like the reverse guitar where they play that, but they like reverse it. It sounds really cool. It's lots of longing in this song. Kind of a sad song about young friends who had to like not play with each other anymore because their parents had political disagreements, and so like kind of showing that innocent children don't really take politics or anything like that into consideration. They just see people and how kind of adults are stupid sometimes and don't choose to associate with other people just because of disagreements and things. So I think it's a really great song.
That hasn't changed much.
Yeah.
No, sadly, no.
1970.
What do you mean? Politics is divisive?
Really? I didn't know that.
I didn't know that. Yeah.
Yeah, no.
Yeah, I like the song a lot too. I'm a sucker for country songs that deal with like underlying sadness. That's kind of like a staple in the
Country.
genre. So this one, you get this sad story about a friendship torn apart, and between just the tenderness of Robert Plant's vocals and some really incredible guitar work and the steel guitar, which is like, to me, it's like the ultimate sound of a crying instrument, especially on these ballad type songs. This one was really good. It's not top 5 material, but I think it's a good song all around.
Oh, okay.
I love this song. It's one of my favorite Led Zeppelin songs now. I mean, to me, like Immigrant Song is like, that's the big hit. To me, this, I don't know, this could have been a hit. I don't know if it was, but when I hear it, I'm like, this sounds like a hit song that could have been on the radio. It reminds me of like Going to California or Over the Hills Far Away. It's that type of song. I really love when Led Zeppelin, I love when they do a really good rock song, but I love it when they tone it down and do acoustic. And Robert Plant, I mean, again, incredible when he does those screeches, when he hits these screechy notes that only he can hit. But then in this song, it's just like you said, his vocals are so great and so underplayed, I guess, or it's not, loud and screechy. It's just very soft. And it's like, wow, he sounds great when he just does soft. In fact, I heard an album, Jacob probably, I don't know if he knows this album from him and Alison Krauss did like an album.
Oh yeah.
Called like The Stand,
which came out in like 2008 or 9, I think. It won big at the Grammys. I remember
it won Album of the Year, yeah. And I listened to it, and it's not bad, and it's more country-ish. It's more of a country-ish bluegrass style album, and you go, wow, Robert Plant sounds pretty good on it, like doing more country-ish bluegrass style. Anyway, so to me, Robert Plant's such a good singer when he does that, when he can do those screechy high notes, and then he can do these soft songs, and I think it sounds great. And the acoustic guitar, I think, is a highlight. I think Scott was saying that. Like, I love the acoustic guitar and the sound that it makes. It's just so soothing. It's a real soothing song. To me, this and Immigrant Song are like S tier songs, and way above the other songs on the album. Those are the two I listen to the most.
I will say I like the original title for this song better. The song was almost called The Boy Next Door. And I think to me that's a more interesting title than That's the Way.
I think it's one of the best songs on the album. I agree with Jason. Right. It's top shelf Led Zeppelin, It's amazing. It's beautiful. It's sometimes I could get a tiny bit of a tear just listening to the song. That's how like sad it sounds. It's just very emotional going through it. It's really good. Really good.
All right. So now we are going to get to the Bron-Yr-Aur Stomp.
This was a fun song. I love the acoustic part beginning, and then it's like
yeah.
That's the way it should be. So fun. I love the way he says it's so fun.
Go on and tell everyone in the world there ain't no companion like a blue-eyed Merle, which apparently was his dog. He had a blue-eyed Merle, which was his dog. Yeah, the song is written about his dog.
Oh, wow! I didn't know that.
A song called Black Dog, but it has nothing to do with the dog.
Yeah, and this song called Bron-Yr-Aur Stomp, which has nothing to do with dogs and is about a dog.
Well, I guess it's better than Michael Jackson singing the tender friendship song "Ben" about a rat.
About a rat.
Ben, yeah.
I actually heard that song was originally going to be for Donny Osmond.
Okay.
And then and I think Michael Jackson was supposed to sing "Puppy Love," but they ended up switching.
Really?
Okay.
Oh, okay. Well, Michael Jackson did. I'd rather have Michael Jackson do "Ben" than "Puppy Love." "Puppy Love" the cringy song.
It was a big hit.
Oh yeah, it was.
Donny Osmond, you'd be surprised how many #1 hits he had. He was
a heartthrob.
Yeah. I'll stick to "Make a Man Out of You." That song's amazing.
Oh,
That's
yeah.
great.
Oh yeah,
Great.
that's great.
But the Bron-Yr-Aur Stomp, I freaking love this song. It's one of my favorites on the album. This is like Led Zeppelin doing a country hoedown. And I love that. I'm a sucker for those type of songs. The acoustic work on it is amazing. I love just the catchiness of it, and even the silliness of the song just makes the song so infectious. It's great that you got me into this album because this is the one I've kept coming back to the most. Well, the album as a whole, but this song is one of my favorites from it.
For me, I'm sorry to kill the mood a little bit, but this was not really one of my favorites here. It's fine. I didn't have a whole lot to say about it. It's got a good rhythm to it. It's pretty simple, drum beat, simple bass line. Definitely a very captures that folk sound. But yeah, I didn't have much to say about it. I thought it was okay.
I really like the song. It was one of my favorite on the album, actually. It was a real fun song. I think a good pace to it. I thought, yeah, it was, yeah, again, like you guys said, I agree with, yeah, it's a really fun song.
Cool.
Hey guys, next song on the album. Hey, what can I do?
Yeah, hey, what can I do? And that the last and final song. Well, we are going to talk about that song, but first we're going to have to
all the only thing I will say is that, yep, hats off to this song.
Hats off.
You drop your CD.
Yeah.
It's a song on a Led Zeppelin album, and that's really all I have to say about it. It's
well, it's very slide guitar heavy, I would say. Wouldn't you say? That's kind of the big thing, is he's really heavy on the slide guitar. It's like
this weird slide guitar, and like Robert Plant has some awful distortion put on his voice.
Yeah. It's just kind of like that. It was my feeling. It maybe a little too heavy on the slide guitar.
Yeah.
I hated this song, you guys. Like, I was like, you kept warning me this whole time. It's like, you're gonna hate this song, Jacob. You're gonna hate this song. I'm like, I don't know about that. And then I heard it, and I was like, what the heck is this garbage? Like the obnoxious distortion, both in the guitar and Robert Plant's vocals, drove me off the wall. I did not re-listen to this song after the first time. In fact, I can easily say this is the worst thing Led Zeppelin has ever done, song-wise.
Thankfully, it remains that way through the end of their discography. Even Presence doesn't even.
Okay, at least for now, this is the worst Led Zeppelin song.
It is the worst Led Zeppelin song.
I can't stand this one. This is like the Revolution 9 of Led Zeppelin's career.
Yeah. Oh boy.
My turn. It's bad, but honestly, I feel like with it's not as bad as some other songs I've heard before. Like I'd rather listen to this song than there's like a handful of Beatles songs, like 10 or 20 Beatles songs I'd rather listen to Hats Off to Roy Harper than listen to the Beatles song. Like, and don't get me wrong, it's like that for the Who. Like I'd rather listen to this track than Fiddle About, because there's no dark meaning behind it. Definitely. What else? I'd also would rather listen to this song than have to listen to the 20-minute instrumental by Queen.
Yeah, I'd agree with that. Yeah.
Named Untitled. So there are songs. I feel like the song isn't as bad as we talk about it. It's not a good song. Don't get me wrong, but I don't hate it as much as you guys do.
Because
I kind of agree with Nick.
In terms
I feel like
of
everybody
Led
overhyped the song. I don't think it's as bad as everybody's saying it is. It's not great, but I don't know. I'm not like, oh, this is the worst thing I've ever heard. But
yeah, it's more fun to make fun of it.
Yeah, it's not like Mr. Wonderful.
Like Mr. Wonderful. I gave it like a 6 6 point something out of 10. Like, it was a decent album, but we just like to say it's garbage because it's fun too.
Also, this song is better than most of the Mardi Gras album.
Yeah.
Why don't you take it like a friend?
Oh yeah, I'd rather listen to Hats Off to Roy Harper any day over that song again. Lock the door.
And I definitely would like to hear this song over "Summer of Love" by the Beach Boys.
Yes,
it's a love thing.
I will say, as much as I hate this song, just from what I've experienced, I'd rather hear this over the entire Chris Gaines Garth Brooks album.
Oh man.
So overall, this song just exists.
Yeah. Let's talk about what should have been the closer. So there was the Immigrant Song was the one song released as a single from this album, and it had a B-side that was unique to it was only on the B-side of the Immigrant Songs. The only way you could hear this song is called Hey Hey What Can I Do? And we decided that we would like to listen to that one as well. It would have made a much better ending to this album.
Oh yeah, definitely. It's a really good song.
I could not agree more. In fact, on Spotify, and I've shared this on the our little Facebook group, I created a playlist on Spotify. It's like how I would arrange Led Zeppelin III. There's no change on the album except the last song, except Roy Harper, change it to Hey Hey What Can I Do?
That's the only way I'll listen to this album.
And that's how I've listened. That's how I listened to the album the other 2 times. And it's a much
That's how Nick did it too.
A much better way of listening to it.
On iTunes, it lets me edit the albums, and I got rid of Hats Off to Roy Harper, and I put it.
I didn't know you could do that on iTunes. That's pretty cool.
Yeah, I do that all the time.
Yeah, I think this song is like a good fine line between like the acoustic and the electric side of Led Zeppelin. It does feel like a country rock song. I do like the chords on this album, and it's a pretty memorable song. You think it's about, oh, this lovely relationship. No, it's about an unfaithful spouse. That's a common theme in country music.
Yep.
I do really love this song. Robert Plant has some great lines. It's got some great percussion on it. I like the kind of like the backing vocals of the. It was like, hey, hey, what can I do? No, what can I say? If the song was on the album, it'd be one of my favorites on the album.
Yeah. So I had never really heard this song before, but then when I started listening to the Led Zeppelin discography, I listened to Led Zeppelin 3, and I didn't like Led Zeppelin 3 very much when I first heard it. Now that changed a lot, but I heard Hats Off to Roy Harper and thought this is garbage. And then I was seeing things that said, Hey, Hey, What Can I Do? Is a B-side that was released as the B-side of Immigrant Song. Well, I'll give that a listen. I'm like, what if that was the last song? That would have been a lot better. But I like the guitar playing, and like Jacob was saying, those backing vocals at the end are really good.
Yeah, I don't have much else to add to it. Yeah, it's a pretty good song. I really enjoyed it. Definitely would have been better on this album. One thing I will say, one thing that's not good about this CD is that it has 2 discs. Disc 1 has the original album. Disc 2 has a lot of other stuff, and yet the song is not on here.
I think it's because it's on the deluxe version of Coda instead. That makes no sense. You should have put it on this.
Yeah, I have something. There's something called bathroom sound, so at least they have that in there.
Hats off to Roy Harper. He can go take a poop in his crap while we hear that garbage playing on the album.
The bathrooms.
I have no idea. I haven't even heard the second disc. So I have no idea what it's talking about.
I'd say Briar's like, it's the best song on the album.
You've heard of Pet Sounds. Well, get ready for Led Zeppelin's answer to Pet Sounds.
If we had to be.
Oh boy.
Oh wait. Fun fact. Not really fun fact. The name of Hats Off to Roy Harper at the beginning was going to be called Bathroom Sounds because it sounds like you're crapping through a microphone.
Pretty much.
Yeah.
Maybe it'd be a good one for Jacob to sing on his channel.
I know perfectly well that I
Just
have
kind of
to
just do this as you're
be.
going. You'll get the effect just right.
I still even I still even get what the song is
Shake 'em
about.
on down.
I had a bad calf cramp one night, and I had Led Zeppelin III playing in the background on YouTube, and it had Patch off Roy Harper, and I was just getting bad calf cramps while that song was playing in the background. I'm like,
oh man, yeah.
That
just
sounds
walking.
awful.
It's like,
just like, yeah, I put my phone on Spotify and listen to music when I go to sleep, and there's nothing worse than the Revolution 9 coming on. And you're like, what the heck?
Why would the algorithm pick Revolution 9?
Imagine waking up to Revolution 9 with the worst calf cramps.
Oh, it give you nightmares, yeah, while you're sleeping.
like when that happened, I'm like, I couldn't go to sleep after that because of how like horrific it was.
Yeah, that'll give you sleep paralysis.
Yeah, sleep paralysis. Number 9. Oh. Oh boy. Okay, so now it's time for the top 5 songs on the rating.
Oh,
okay. You guys could go first.
Did everyone share their thoughts on the Hey Hey?
I think so.
I didn't listen to the song, so.
Oh, okay.
Oh, Jason, you'd like that song.
Oh, it's a great song. It's a great song. All right. So I guess I'll start on the top 5. My number 5, this is a last minute edition. Number 5 is Out on the Tiles. Number 4, Since I've Been Loving You. Number 3, Bron-Yr-Aur Stomp. Number 2 is Gallows Pole, and my favorite is still the Immigrant Song, although Gallows Pole's really close. And if Hey Hey What Can I Do was on the album, it would have been my number 3.
Cool. Hey, what can I do?
I'll go. My number 5 is Celebration Day. Number 4 is Out on the Tiles. Number 3 is Bron-Yr-Aur Stomp, or whatever you pronounce it. Number 2, That's the Way. And number 1, same, Immigrant Song.
Yep. For me, number 5, Celebration Day. Number 4, Out on the Tiles. Number 3, That's the Way. Number 2, Tangerine. And number 1, like 3 in a row, Immigrant Song.
Trifecta!
Okay.
Wow, ours were similar, Briar. 4 to 5.
Close.
Going.
I'm gonna have to break the trifecta. My number 1 was Immigrant Song, but I changed it midway through whenever we talked about a certain song. So my number 5 is going to be Gallows Pole. Number 4 is Out on the Tiles. 3 is Immigrant Song. 2, Since I've Been Loving You, and number 1, That's the Way.
Oh, That's the Way. Awesome.
Okay, so I'm going to do this differently. I'm going to rank all 11 songs. So 11, Hats Off to Roy Harper. 10, Celebration Day. Number 9, The Immigrant Song. Number 8, Friends. 7, Bron-Yr-Aur Stomp. Number 6, Hey Hey What Can I Do? Number 5, Tangerine. Number 4, Out of the Tiles. Number 3, Since I've Been Loving You. Number 2, Gallows Pole. And me and Scott are agreeing on this one. That's the way. Okay. That's the way our list ought to be.
Yeah.
3 for Immigrant Song, 2 for That's the Way. Okay.
Yeah. I would say my honorable mentions, the ones that were close to making the top 5, were Tangerine, That's the Way, and Friends were close to making the top 5, and then easy dishonorable mention, Roy Crapper.
I don't even usually give dishonorable mentions unless I really hate something, and I do on this album. So dishonor on you, dishonor on Roy Harper,
dishonor on your horse, dishonor on you. Or your cow, dishonor on your cow.
That's dishonor on your cow.
Yeah, that's the line. Dishonor on your cow. Yeah.
Okay, now we get the score out of 10.
All right. I would say I have to give this 2 ratings. The actual album we got unfortunately has the terrible Roy Harper song. Knocked it out a couple points. If not, it would have been my favorite Led Zeppelin album. So because Roy Harper's on there, I'm only giving it an 8 out of 10. If you swap Roy Harper with Hey Hey What Can I Do, it'd be a 10 out of 10 album. This would be
so it knocked it down. That's how bad it is. Knocked it down 2 points.
Wow.
Yeah, it's so bad. It's so awful.
What if they put Roy Harper in a different spot? Would that make any better?
No, that would make it even worse. Ruin the flow of the album.
It would still be a bad song.
Okay.
I think it makes it worse being the closer.
Yeah, that's what I was wondering, if it's worse being a closer, but
yeah.
Because at least with the closer, you could just take the needle off after.
That's true.
Yeah, which is usually what I do, and then play Hey Hey What Can I Do, because I have the Immigrant Song single.
Oh, cool.
Mm.
I'm giving it a 10 out of 10 because it's in my top 100 albums of all time, and all 9 of these songs are worth talking. Like, all 9 of these songs are amazing, and like my top 5 on this album like makes the bottom song like look like really what's it called, unrelevant compared to those 5 songs.
Mm-hmm.
I to be honest, I can't not give an album that has Out on the Tiles, That's the Way, Gallows Pole, Immigrant Song, and Since I've Been Loving You, not a 10 out of 10. Those 5 songs, like just the 9 songs are just so good. It has to be 10 out of 10 for me.
A 9.75 for me. Like, I hate Roy Harper, but it only nicks off a quarter.
Yeah, because
like 5 points.
Because of how great the other songs are.
Like, it's kind of the same thing with the Police's Synchronicity album, where Mother I hate that, but I love the rest of the album so much that I can't really dock it that many points.
For me, I'm gonna give it an 8.75. This album definitely grew a lot. I know when me, Jason, and Adam ranked it on Adam's channel, I had it near the bottom because I didn't have that much history with it. This album and Presence I have the least history with.
Okay.
But the more I've listened to it, I do recognize that there's definitely a lot of good songs that I have forgotten about. It was definitely nice to kind of revisit it. So 8.75, it's definitely gone up a little bit since that last ranking. So I'm not sure where exactly, but it's definitely good. It's definitely nice to revisit it.
I have a question. I know you and Jason were on Adam's channel ranking the Zeppelin albums. You think you guys will join us for the ranking albums again in the future?
Maybe. Like it's probably changed. My list has probably changed. So
that's how I want to. That's how I want to end the Led Zeppelin series. Is do a ranking.
Oh, yeah.
I know. Me, Scott, and Jacob will do it because we didn't do a Zeppelin ranking on our channels at all yet.
We can do that one as a live stream.
Oh yeah, we usually do the rankings on a live stream. I was just wondering if Jason and Briar would join us.
Mm-hmm.
Oh yeah, sure.
Yeah.
I feel like I didn't like this album as much as you guys. It's not as strong to me as 2 and 4 in the lineup, but better than 1 for me. To me, Immigrant Song and That's the Way are like the 2 highlights of this album. Like, those are 2 absolute stellar songs. And then there's some good stuff, there's some okay stuff, and then there's some bad stuff. So it's kind of a mixed album for me. And so I'm giving it an 8 out of 10, though. I still think it's a good album. I'm with Jacob on this kind of in a way, except
the only reason the 8 was brought down was because of Roy Harper. If
right,
it'd be my favorite album.
Since I've Been Loving You and Friends brought it down, I would say to the 8. But yeah, overall good album. Not top tier as Led Zeppelin for me, but
all right. Well, thank you guys for being on this stream. Led Zeppelin series is going to continue. I don't know when, but the next album we're going to do is called The Man with the Sticks. Well, that's not really that's yeah. Well, technically the album doesn't have a title because once again, Peter Grant was like, we're going to release it without your name, like mysterious, but it still sold a lot even though they didn't put their name on it. But we're going to listen to Led Zeppelin's 4th album, which is their most popular album, and it's going to be fun to review that one. We will see you guys next time.
Right.